Hey, it's AP, and today we're going to bring new life to this old workbench. Check it out. When we bought this house, it came with this beautiful workbench. It's solid, it's heavy. Help! And it shows years of love, but my needs for it have changed over the years. It's not you, it's me. I've just outgrown you, and my needs have changed, and I'm sorry. We can't go on like this. So I'm going to make some changes to it to make it more functional, where I can build my various woodworking projects. Now, in its current state, it's a glorified desk with a busted up top. What I plan on doing is adding a bottom shelf, putting on some casters so it's really easy to move, and putting on a new top since the old one is busted up and completely uneven. Now, with the exception of the top, I'm going to use as much of the original wood as possible. The way this was constructed, I have a good feeling I'll be able to repurpose a lot of this and end up with a work table that will provide a level space for me to build projects on, as well as provide some additional storage for, well, all my stuff. All right, first things first, I need to remove that bench vise and then flip this thing over. Let's do it. This is your standard flip, unscrew, and pound job. There's this weird box hidden on the bottom. What could it be? We'll find out soon. Womp, womp, womp. So remember when I said I was going to be able to use a lot of the wood because this was really built sturdily? Well, I was a little mistaken. So I won't be able to reuse the legs because, well, over the years, there's been some flooding in the basement before we waterproofed it, and that damaged the feet. And as you can see, there was mold, and I don't know what else is on there. So, I mean, I'll be able to use some of the wood, but not enough to make it worth using. We have some pieces. We also have some pieces that are just kind of busted up. So won't be able to use that one either. That was loud. So I'm gonna have to use a little bit more 2x4 than I was hoping. New 2x4 than I was hoping, but that's okay. Okay, so next I'm going to get the height of the workbench. Now I'm also adding casters to this, which is going to add about 4 inches, and I'm debating on removing that 4 inches from the overall height or leaving the 4 inches inclusive of the height. So it'll be a little bit taller than normal, but I'm a tall guy, so having that extra height actually might not be a bad thing, and the future owner in 10-15 years will be able to remove those wheels or keep them on if they'd like. So I think I'm just gonna not factor in the height of the wheels. Yeah. So let's get those measurements and head on over to the miter stand and cut those down. And by miter stand, I mean the miter saw that's currently on the floor of my shop because I need to build a miter stand. Next project. Okay. The height of my current work desk is 28 inches, so I'll just use the same height. I was able to salvage some of the legs with this new height, so I was able to keep the new wood down to a minimum. Instead of using carriage bolts like my predecessor, I just opted for 2.5-inch construction screws. I made the bottom shelf by repurposing some of the old stringers to make a platform. If you have an uneven floor like I do, using some scrap plywood to even out your pieces is a great hack. Once I have this new workbench built, I'll be able to do a lot of this on that, so I'm very excited. I cut down some 8-inch, which eventually became 4-inch, blocks to help act as spacers for the bottom shelf, but also add some additional support for the weight I'll be putting on there, as well as some more meat for the caster screws to bite into. And she moves like Jagger. The top was screwed on, so I got my shop assistant to help me remove them. I really wanted to be able to just flip this piece over and repurpose it for a tabletop, but for some reason a knucklehead cut this slot out at the bottom for that weird box of nothing, so maybe I'll repurpose for a smaller shop table down the line. My new top is just sanded plywood. This is way cheaper than 3/4 inch birch plywood, by like half. Birch plywood is ridiculously expensive right now, in August of 2023. It was almost $90 for a sheet. That is insane. If there's a black market for plywood, let me know in the comments below. I'm more than happy to buy this stuff in a dark alley. I cut down a 1/2 inch piece of plywood for the bottom shelf. I didn't think I would need a full 3/4 inches for that. A light sanding with 120 grit paper, and we're good to load it up. There we go. In an afternoon, I transformed this old work desk into a functional workbench with storage, casters, and a fresh new top to build my furniture projects on. Now, you might have watched this video and thought, big whoop, there's nothing wildly innovative about a table on wheels, and to that you would be correct. But the point of this episode wasn't about building something new or something out of nothing. It was about taking something old and using most of its parts to make something more functional for today's needs. The entire structure, except for one 2x4 brace and the tops, are all original wood from when this was first built over 20 years ago. How cool is that? So before upgrading your shop furniture by buying something new, take a look at whatever you have already around and see if you can just reformat something to achieve what you need it to be and do in your new way of working. Now, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button while you're at it. It doesn't cost you a thing and it does help the channel grow, and I do appreciate it. And if you don't have a workbench to redo, well, check out this video where I build a 2x4 workbench for all my 3D printing equipment. It's actually this one right here. It's super easy, and I even have free plans for you to download. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.